at a red light. Going to see Book of Mormon.
Yay!
Super excited. Yeah, been excited for months. This is a belated birthday gift from this lovely lady.
Happy belated birthday!
Mm-hmm. So what are you expecting going into a South Park musical?
I'm a big musical fan, and I actually did watch South Park growing up, so I think that I'm expecting really good humor.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely like adult humor. Also, my ticket says parental advisory, explicit language.
Awesome.
So I know it's going to be,
Yeah.
you know, all those things. But I'm excited to hear the music, and I'm interested to see how they offend religion, but also they're bringing attention to it at the same time.
Yeah, I've heard that the Mormon Church actually advertises in this show, which is interesting to me.
Oh,
but
really?
They, knowing South Park's reputation, they just wholesale swipe at religion all the time. Looking forward to being super offended, and I kind of cheated. I've heard some of the songs, so certifiably I know they're great. You have to?
Yeah, I'm excited.
Okay. Awesome. But it's going to be great, and you'll hear from more from us soon. Thanks.
Yeah.
Just got back from Book of Mormon.
Yay!
It was absolutely hysterical. Completely lived up to the billing.
It was perfect.
Yeah?
It was almost perfect, which is better than perfect.
So we're going to try and avoid any major spoilers, but really
want to see it.
You should really see it.
I won't spoil it. You should see it.
Yeah, I was disappointed that nobody left the theater, but I guess it's been in theaters long enough so that everyone kind of knew what they were getting into. I saw 0 people that were like shocked and appalled at what they had seen. And
it was a full house. Everybody was there to see it.
It was, yeah.
Which is great, and it made me think, which I'm sure we'll talk about, but it's about, I mean, it's highlighting Mormonism, the religion of, Joseph Smith, that in reality all of those elders are going around trying to spread their religion, but then this show, the Book of Mormon, the musical, does a better job. It reaches more people in 2 days
than missionaries.
They're doing 6 shows at the Fox Theater here in Atlanta, and I think they're probably all sold out. So I think that's ironic. But
yeah, we mentioned earlier that I thought the Mormon Church actually advertised in the show, and they did. There was an advertisement in the program. And it said something like, the book is better. I forget exactly what it said. What was your favorite part of the show?
I thought the whole thing was really crafty, and it's not your typical musical. It's a total, jab and poke at, society, but it was musical. I just think the script was really funny.
It was.
I myself am a performer, and so I really appreciate the behind the scenes stuff. So I mean, there was a repetitive, I won't spoil it, but there's a specific character who I didn't relate with. I just found to be very entertaining and funny. So that was one of my favorite parts, just the script of this character.
Yeah, quite a few little recurring jokes that'll pop up through the show. Quintessential South Park. If you're a fan of South Park, do you watch much South Park?
I used to watch a lot of South Park, and I have total respect for South Park.
Lots of little Easter eggs in there if you follow South Park in like the Joseph Smith episode. Right. There was one from the Scientology episode where the guy that played Chef quit the show because he was so offended.
Oh, that's right. I mean, I don't think we'd be giving away too many spoilers by saying you could Google it, you know what I mean? You could watch a trailer for the Book of Mormon and see the same thing, but it's every elder at the right age, it's their time to go on a mission to try and spread the words of their faith around the world, and everyone's hoping to kind of get assigned to these exotic or romantic or just vacation-like spots, and these 2 men get sent to Uganda. And so that's really fun to see on stage, just they're really portraying
Yeah.
this society that we don't really know much about, and it's funny, and also it's like, that's probably pretty, it's not that accurate, but it's accurate enough to come across audiences.
Well, the problems it portrayed were accurate. They touch on female circumcision. They talk about AIDS. They talk about poverty and famine. Very real issues, but it's of course blown up in South Park fashion. So it's okay for us to laugh at it. Right.
I think that's what's really nice. And I was reading the program notes, and they were talking about, I can't remember the exact word. I feel like I'm plugging the Book of Mormon, like Fox say, like, go see the show.
Go see the show.
You can go. You can't because, well, not in Atlanta. They're
you
touring.
Can wherever you live.
You can wherever you live because it's nationwide tour right now.
Yep.
But in the program, I'm sure wherever a theater goes, the director has notes, and the director says something like, we're telling the truth without telling you what to think about it, sort of thing. Mm-hmm. And I think that they did a really good job at that. They're touching on some very touchy, controversial topics that everyone is comfortable talking about in this setting.
In on race.
Like South Park. Any comedy shows. This is a musical with really dark but upfront humor that makes it. We just talked about female circumcision. It's for me very dark. Mm-hmm. But talking about it in the line of this musical, I like that it makes it okay to talk about it.
Yeah, well, it starts a dialogue. It was super effective at starting a dialogue, and I've never seen a show where they break the cast up in such a way. If you're white, you're playing this role. If you're black, you're playing this role. And just the way it attacks racial issues I thought it was pretty uncomfortable for a minute, especially when they first get to it wastes no time hitting you over the head with this first world problem. As soon as they land in Uganda, they are in it. You know what I mean? Just knee deep and just.
It was smart on their part to get us over the head like that.
So after I got over the initial kind of discomfort, it was a lot easier to kind of absorb what they were trying to say, and also really liked that they tackle religion and absolutely just. They rip Mormonism up. Let's be real.
They do.
But they never call the protagonist stupid.
Right.
They never make them look stupid or foolish, or they make them very, very real and likable, I thought.
Again, I just keep in my mind going back and forth, they do rip it up, but they're also, and I was telling you this, bringing it to the stage, literally and figuratively. They're putting the Book of Mormon, literally the Book of Mormon, the studies, the faith, on the spotlight for everyone to watch. I actually learned a lot that I hadn't known because it's not my faith or whatever. I don't go into time to learn about it, but the musical shoved it down my throat also on just like a fact basis. Actually, I ended up learning a lot about, all the things.
The chief antagonist, General Butt Fucking Naked, based on a librarian warlord turned Christian pastor, very controversial figure.
And I didn't know that was a real person. So I actually learned a lot, which again is just so ironic. It rips it apart, but I also learned a lot. Again, I probably learned a lot more about the religion of Mormonism more than it would if someone were to ring my doorbell and ask me if I wanted to know about it. So I don't know. I find that I'm in my head.
It does give you a kind of a nice little overview of Mormonism, but it never says anything not true about Mormonism. And what I liked is the nitpicks it has are more about religion as a whole. It doesn't go too hard like criticizing and pointing out the many inconsistencies in Mormon's story. There's no point in doing that. It's not constructive to try and pick apart people's religions. Because I'm sure if you're a religious person, you've done this yourself many times when you're trying to justify your faith. I'm sure that's something that happens a lot. But they keep it very broad and applicable. So it's more about thinking about how you approach problems and how you think about how the structure of religion has benefits to society and what those benefits are, and really what's important about it and what's a little less important about it.
Right. I'm such a big musical fan in general. I just am. It's my geeky side. And I just think, you think about all the musicals out there, and they're all different. And it's the same thing. You could say the same thing for plays. You could say the same thing for movies. It's not just for musicals. But because I like them, you think about all these musicals. I mean, you have like Hairspray, for example, which is, if talking about like, you know, in the 60s, in the trouble of race. And so that is one musical example. But I love that musicals, they're really hitting either history hard and kind of bringing this, there are controversial topics, or it's just pure entertainment up, but making it just like enjoyable. It's like this was all about religion, and then also about like a third world country that's going through a lot of problems, and we're watching and we're laughing, and it's
and also getting hit with all this heavy stuff
right, in
for 2 hours.
I think it's pretty genius, and I think, I mean, they took a big risk, and it really paid off to be able to write a script and say, yeah, let's rip apart this religion and put it on stage. And I can't remember the facts. I'm so mad that I can't remember. But I was reading it grossed over.
It was a lot.
It was like $500 million.
$500 million, $400 million, something like that. It was a bunch.
For any musical is huge, and it's still going. I think it's been like many years. So I'm just like
7 years,
impressed. So I think when you have something big and controversial, but make it easy to watch and it's entertaining, it's going to appeal to the masses.
Right. And something I thought was very telling, because I think it's Trey Parker and Matt Stone, they had said that this is kind of the medium that is going to let us do this. This would be a really hard movie to make.
Yes, exactly.
Because it was even worse than in terms of its pushing the bill. It was worse than I thought South Park Bigger, Longer, Uncut. I don't know if you saw that. But
No,
I
have not seen that.
That was pretty vile. This goes further, but it, I think, was very telling, because when these guys got an Oscar nomination for that movie, they like wore dresses and did shrooms and went to the Oscars and kind of just made a big joke of it. But they went to the Tonys. They took the Tonys with a little bit more. Yeah, the Tonys meant something to them. I think they took home several too. I'm not sure.
Well, there's like so much that goes into any production. I was actually really impressed with this one. I'm impressed with all of them. First of all, when you take a huge cast of people, it's not just the cast, it's the crew. You have to hire all the stage managers, the lighting designers.
Yeah, music was great.
The score. I mean, part of what makes a musical is the music. And if you're gonna write a song that you're like, it's got to be good. That you're gonna write
those harmonies.
I was, but about like religion or about
you're
like.
Getting a little, you're spritzing a little bit.
I like
some of those harmonies. Yeah, everybody likes harmonies.
Gives me goosebumps. I
had to change clothes.
I did. I didn't look good before, so I changed into a
got a little damp over there, didn't you?
A semi more appropriate outfit. But I loved it. It was so crafty. So yeah, they went to the Tonys because, like, I don't know, I think there's a lot of different mindset that goes into making a live production on stage, not something you can do on film and just have set permanent. You're doing something live as a performance. You have like audience feedback, feeling.
More moving parts.
Yeah, it's probably going to be different every time. Hopefully, sort of, kind of, maybe not. I'm glad that they took the Tonys seriously.
Yeah, but I thought it was a truly excellent musical. Probably one of the best ones we've seen. I was going to give it a rating out of 10, which is kind of benign and stupid, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Do it.
I would give it a solid 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
Really good. Yeah. The only thing that was missing for me was kind of a big score, like from Les Mis, that kind of just like music itself.
A big number, yeah.
Yeah, that was the only thing that was missing. Everything else was
but maybe they couldn't do that because I don't know how dramatic you can make this like ridiculous. You know what I mean? So probably there weren't any core problems in the plot, but the overall thing like is a huge problem. Like, anyway.
The plot is a giant problem.
I love musicals that I think, if you're of the right age, because this has like explicit language and it's really inappropriate and crude, is for anybody. Even the Mormons. I mean, I say that, I'm not Mormon, but I think that they would want to see it.
I'm sure lots of them have seen it, yeah. I would imagine the reaction from kind of the Mormon population has been pretty mixed on it.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to sit down and talk with someone, maybe from both sides, who liked it and who also maybe didn't.
That would be a cool debate. From what I've heard, though, it's actually increased their traffic
Again,
their website, so to speak.
yeah, probably. But I would also give it a 9 out of 10. And the dancing was great.
Are we gonna do Titanic the musical next?
Probably.
Titanic the musical coming to Serenbe Playhouse
Yeah, it's already
in
playing.
Atlanta, Georgia. They're gonna be on an actual lake,
Yes.
and we're gonna go watch a giant tragedy in musical form.
It's hard to go in knowing you.
Probably won't be as funny as the one we saw today.
No, it will be impressive on a production scale. It'll be very tragic and sad and leave you feeling like empty. But that's what we're going for.
We're going.